Welcome to Common Sense Coalition Talk Radio, where you'll find straight talk from people with good old common sense.
I trust your opinion.
And now, for your host, she's putting sense back into nonsense.
Absolute insanity.
Well, you can hear me on the radio. You want to turn me on, turn on your stereo. You can sing along while they're playing my song. How you done me wrong, baby, crank it up.
And now, your host, Beth Ann.
And I welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It's my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you today. You know, it's been a difficult morning. It's been difficult for me to find a topic that I get all whomped up about this morning, which is what my boss used to say. You got to be whomped up. And, but as I was going through the news, the articles, there's so much clatter, so much rhetoric, and I guess you probably think, well, Beth Ann, you're one of those. But I just can't seem to figure out the lack of common sense, the lack of love for our nation, the lack of respect for others. I just don't get it. The lack of respect for the law, for decency, the hypocrisy that's out there, the hate from all directions. Then there were two titles that struck me. One is a compilation of several articles and topics that the Daily Signal had put out recently. But they had this titled, From Kavanaugh to Gosnell. And then there was another current article that was, A Rape Survivor Receives a Nobel Peace Prize. Well, the hypocrisy of the left has really, I guess, for lack of another term or to keep it clean, got my goat. Their using and abusing others is so wrong. But their boldness and their accusations, even stupidity, goes beyond measure. The turmoil in this nation is always blamed on the right, and the right blames the left. In particular, though, the current president on the right is who speaks off the cuff. That's who they want to blame all the violence on. Saying speaking off the cuff is kind of putting it mildly at times. But the truth is, this has been heating up from the left for a long time. And the final loss of the presidency from the left and the globalists, which are some of those rhinos on the so-called right, has truly fired things up. And the lack of respect for others, as well as the law and lack of respect for law and order, it's been growing for decades. Just escalating now that we have a group of politicians encouraging violence and discord and threatening Americans if they don't play right at the polls. This November 6th is an important election. What will Americans do? What will you do? Will you decide you love to be controlled? That this nation would be better off as a socialistic state? We're headed that way. In fact, we're just on the brink. Or will you decide, wait a minute, what happened to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, property, and prosperity? You have to vote. I'm not a lover of any of these two parties. Then you know that. But the Democrat Party right now, the party, I'm not speaking to all the registered Democrats out there as far as what you think or believe, but I am telling you, you need to exercise that. If your party is not representing you, then exercise that at the polls. The Democrat Party has gone completely anti-American. The party, not those that are out there registered as Democrats. I don't believe everyone out there is anti-American. In fact, I believe what we're seeing, although the turmoil is disgusting and disturbing, I don't think that's the majority of Americans. So let's get the Democrats out of any kind of control. And let's start putting the same fear in the Republican Party. Don't once again give them a majority without your authority behind them. You have got to stand for what is right, for the Constitution, for the rule of law, for the Bill of Rights, for independence. Independence from government. You can think for yourself. Whatever gender you are, whatever color you are, you can think for yourself. You have that right here in America, and don't let anybody tell you you don't. That doesn't mean we don't have prejudices. We do. But you have the right to stand up. Stand up for God, your family, and stand up for country. Not for socialism. Socialism will kill any independence or liberty that your children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren might have enjoyed. So take a senator. I'm going to quote Foster Freeze here. Take a senator, take a representative, take them out for coffee. You're the boss. Job evaluations are due November 6th. So we have several people running, and we'll talk about that later. But I wanted to talk about, for at least first part of the show, this Kavanaugh to Gosnell and the rape victim that has won a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, as a feminist, we're busy peddling their war on women narratives in the U.S., and it's Yazidi sex slave survivor Nadia Murad was honored with a Nobel Peace Prize for fighting a real war on women in the Middle East. Now, this is an article coming from the Daily Signal, and it's written by Kelsey Harkness. The left has completely ignored this woman, and she says in her article how we really can't compare her and this situation to Dr. Ford and Kavanaugh, except for the fact that where are the Democrats? Where are they to support this woman and to raise her up and to give her a pat on the back? She went through horrific ordeal, as many of these women in the Middle East do. She was gang raped. And she survived, but it wasn't enough to survive. She went on a campaign, a warpath, to help protect other women, to make this known. These women that do that, and there's another one that's here that speaks out quite frequently, and I cannot remember her name, and she went through the mutilation that they do. But the left ignores them as if they don't exist. So what women do they really support? The Kavanaugh situation is all about the left wanting to keep abortion. And I don't believe he would get rid of abortion, although I would love to get rid of abortion. But I think the only way we're going to get rid of abortion is if America gets on their knees. If they come to Jesus and understand that that is a life and you don't have the right to take it, but you do have an obligation, a responsibility to live your life in such a manner. The Gosnell movie that's coming out, they're calling him the biggest, what are they calling him, a serial killer. I don't know if I've got it in me to watch that movie. But you don't hear the left talking about that movie. No, they're not talking about it. I don't know who put it out. I should do a little research, I guess, more than I have done. But it's going to be out there. And it's horrific what he did, not just to the unborn, but to the women. No respect for life, but a whole lot of greed for money. And many of them that he took advantage of were illegal immigrants. But he knew he could do it. We're going into a break. Your calls are welcome at 877-895-5410. That's 877-895-5410. And we will be right back.